So you're probably like me, swearing has become second nature. It's the way that every single person around you speaks. But over time, I started to realize it was making me sound less composed, less in control, and honestly, less respected. I didn't like that. I didn't want that to be my story anymore. So I'm gonna teach you guys exactly how to stop swearing. And it's not because you have to. There's not really like an exact reason why you shouldn't be swearing. But I think it will help you change how the world sees you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. So hello guys, and welcome to another video. I am Dearenee Nelson, and as I spoke about, yes, swearing used to be a big battle for me. I used to always swear. Swearing was a second nature. It was a habit. It was just the number one way that I would talk. I would not be speaking if the sentence didn't have a swear in the sign of it. And I started to realize that the type of person I was trying to become, he wouldn't be articulating himself the way that I was. And so I said to myself, I just can't keep doing this anymore. I can't keep swearing every single day. It just doesn't sound right. And even to a certain degree, I had conviction from the Holy Spirit, and it was like, each time I swore, it just didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I was saying what I was meant to say. It made my message feel weak. So in line with who I was trying to become, I said this habit has to stop. And some of you might be in the same shoes that I was. You're trying to go from a certain situation where you are in life to a better position. And you think that swearing is one of the things that's holding you back. So you want to stop swearing. Or maybe you're in a completely different boat. But whatever reason you're watching today's video on why you want to stop swearing or how to stop swearing, today's video will definitely benefit you. So I've underlined 4 tips that I believe will definitely help you at least stop swearing to a point where it's an issue currently. And if you actually take action on these steps, you will definitely stop swearing and see a change in your life. So step number 1, swearing reveals a lack of verbal precision. So essentially, swearing shows that you just don't know enough words to be able to replace the swear words. And that's not really your fault, because unless you consciously think about these things, unless you go out there consciously and say, I want to stop swearing, I want to do the work necessary for me to stop swearing, it is quite rare that you will just stop swearing out of nowhere. Because you genuinely have to sit down and think, hold on a minute, I say this word instead of saying this word for this reason. Like, I used to always say the F-bomb all the time. But the main reason I was saying it was because I didn't know an actual word that fitted better for me to use inside of that sentence. So most people swear because they don't have a better word, they don't have better words ready. So it's not really like people go out there trying to swear on purpose. It's just that they don't have another word to replace that swear word. So the swear word just becomes that instant slot for that sentence. It's not like you want to say the words. It's more so because you don't have another word to put in there, you just say that word. And it is because it becomes default for emphasis, frustration, or exaggeration. So when you start to experience these emotions or these feelings, you're most likely going to let out this word because it is most likely the only word that you know will be able to fit in that gap. Now I'm going to give you guys a disclaimer. You won't find the word better than the F-bomb to replace all these other words. I'll tell you right now. The F-bomb is so universal and fits so many criteria, and it just feels good to say that I won't come here and lie to you and say there's another word to replace it. However, when it comes to making this journey, you have to let go of that good feeling or whatever you may feel, or whatever reason for why you say it. If you want to, I'm assuming you're watching this video because you want to stop swearing. So I'm going to talk from the point of view of someone who wants to stop swearing. No matter what feeling that you get, or no matter what reason why you do it, you have to let it go. Because there's certain words that can be replaced. It probably won't add enough emphasis the same way that you're trying to imply. Like if you let's say like, do you know what I'm trying to say? If you say something and you drag the emphasis, it really fits in there, but you are going to have to change it out if you want to improve your vocabulary and actually stop swearing. It waters down your message and makes you sound reactive instead of intentional. Now, this is one thing that I really wanted to change. When I first started making content like this, I used to swear. I don't know if you'll see it in my first ever videos, but when I used to create fitness content, I used to always swear inside of the videos. Like, it was like, I think I'm pretty sure, not somebody said it to me, but I saw a comment and it resonated with my life. Someone was swearing in every single sentence to the point where somebody commented, this person just learned how to swear today. Because obviously they're saying it so much, you'll be like, this person just learned this word, so now they're trying to abuse it. And that's how I felt. When I saw that comment, I was like, that actually is me, because I swear so much for no reason. I don't have to swear, but I just choose to swear. And because of that, I started to realize that if I'm coming to make content and I come to you guys to tell you guys to fix up certain things or to do certain things, or I'm trying to show my life and show that I'm trying to get to this next level, but every single time I convey this message to you, I'm swearing inside of it for emphasis, the message isn't going to work. It's going to be completely watered down. It's going to sound like I'm reacting through emotion rather than me sitting and actually showing to you guys. I'm actually processing what I'm trying to say, and I thought about what I've come to teach to you guys, and it doesn't seem as intentional if I just swear throughout. But when I actually come here with it planned out, I know what I'm going to say, I don't water down my messages by swearing, it sounds a lot more intentional and you can receive it a lot better. So one of the easiest ways for you to fix this is to build a strong verbal range. So practice swapping out swear words. What you can literally do, which will help you guys a lot, read. If you start reading and you see literature and you hear or even listen to other people who articulate themselves well without swearing, when you have these examples, you can literally see, okay then, they never swore, but they were still able to convey the exact same message I'm trying to convey. And it will help you to get your point across a lot better. Point number 2, swearing is triggered by habit. So you're not choosing to swear, you are reacting. And I spoke about this inside the intro where I said swearing became second nature. It's not necessarily that you want to swear, it's just that you don't know anything else. It's just your instant reaction. You don't even think about it, it just comes out. The second that you feel this certain thing, a swear word comes. And it's not necessarily your fault. Well, it is your fault unless you actually do the work to try and change it. But currently it's not your fault. But all you need to do is just literally process that and understand it's a second nature and you can work on this second nature habit. It's embedded into your speech through repetition. So because you've done it so much, you've reinforced this one habit. So let me give you an example. The way that I tie my shoelace, I've been doing this because it has been embedded into my nature through repetition. I consistently tie my shoelace the way that I tie it. I do you cross over, then after you create the 2 loops and then you cross over, and that's how I tie my shoelace. There are so many other ways to tie your shoelace, but I've chose this way because it has been embedded into my identity or into the way that I tie my shoelace through repetition. I've been doing that my whole entire life, that's why I do it. If I wanted to change that, I have to learn a new way to do it, and then I have to embed that into my habit and keep doing it. And then I'll tie my shoelaces quite differently to where I do it now. And that's how you can actually improve your speech. If rather than you swearing all the time, or it gets reinforced through repetition when you consistently swear, if you swap that word out for something else, you'll start to see, hold on, I don't even swear anymore. So you swear more when stressed, excited, or around certain people. And I'm going to hone in on that part a little bit more later. But yeah, it also depends on the situation that you're currently in. Sorry, my knee is injured. Yeah, it depends on the situation that you're currently in. If you're around certain people who always swear, or you're around certain people who put you in a situation where you are more likely to swear, like let's say there's people consistently rage bait you or they cause you to be angry, all these sorts of things, you're more likely to swear around those people. Well, then you know exactly that is your trigger. And you know exactly that that's the type of situation where you'll be swearing. So because it happens automatically, you rarely notice it. So you won't realize you're swearing. Well, you'll know that you're swearing, but you won't notice that it's about to happen because it's an automatic thing. You only be like, hold on, did I just swear? Oh, I'm trying to stop. Like, some people I've seen say they're going to put £1 in a cookie jar for each time they swear. But because swearing has become so automatic, you keep losing because it's your automatic second nature reaction. So the second you get in a situation where you will swear and have to put £1 in the jar. So that's not really going to help you. You need to tackle it because you know it is an automatic thing. So how do you fix this? Track your swearing for 3 days. Now I know this is going to sound quite long, it's going to sound quite annoying. But with any single habit in the world that you're trying to fix, whether you're trying to become more consistent in the gym, you're trying to improve your diet, you're trying to track your finances and get better finances, whatever it may be, you need to track it. Because you can't change a habit you're not observing. If you're not actively trying to change this thing, if you're not actively trying to change your diet, if you're not actually trying to save your money and improve your finances through financially tracking it, if you're not actively trying to improve your speech by tracking what you're saying, you won't be able to do it. So you can't change a habit if you're not actively watching it, if you're not observing it. So the question that you should ask yourself when you start tracking your swearing is, what situations was I in? What emotions, how was I feeling? And who was around me? Because when you know these sorts of things, you know what it takes for you to swear. You know what situations you're in when you swear. So to stop you from doing that, avoid those situations, avoid those people, avoid those emotions. And of course you can't completely cut these things out in a complete stance, but you can actually start to limit it. And at least you can recognize this is where the situation where I'll be in. So it's no longer an automatic reaction. You can be more conscious about what's going to happen. So awareness is how you stop being automatic. So you need to be aware of the situation that you're in. You need to be aware of what's happening around you. Because when you're aware of that, you'll be able to combat it. Number 3, your environment normalizes swearing. Now this links to what I was talking about earlier when you swear more depending on the people that are around you when you're around certain people. Because language is contagious. So growing up, I was around certain people where swearing was so normal that we'll swear left, right and center. Now, obviously, that's going to reinforce that habit. But if I'm around people, for example, when I started going to church more consistently, when I actually built a community inside of the church, and I had, for example, my friends, they're all men of God, Christians. When we're around each other, we will not swear. So if I just jump on corner and I start bombing, I just start saying all forms of swear words, they're going to be like, bro, what's going on? Like, even for example, when we actually started making a shift and we were like, yeah, let's stop swearing. Like, even, I think I was one of the first ones that asked to stop swearing. I was like, bro, let's stop swearing. From then, each time one of us swore, the other person would be like, or two of us would be like, bro, what are you doing? Or you just swore. And then we became so conscious of it to the point where it was like, okay, yeah, swearing is no longer even in our vocabulary anymore. And that's genuinely helped us a lot. So it really is so important about the people that are around you. Because if they reinforce the swearing, you're going to swear more. But if they reject the swearing, you're going to stop swearing. So language is contagious. In our speech, swearing isn't even part of it. If anything, my business partner, who's one of my close friends as well, his vocabulary, he just throws out the craziest words out of nowhere. Like, even for example, there's a guy on TikTok or Instagram, one of them two, he's dropped a word called pregnacious or pudinacious, something like that. All it means is somebody who wants to fight more. But when these big words come out of nowhere, you're thinking, huh? But when it's part of people's language and you hear it more, you're more likely to embed this type of things into your language. Like, I'm going to drop a big word on you guys right now. Yeah, you're going to think the word is not real. But for some reason, I learned this word. And the situation you can use the word is, there's actually a few situations you can use it. But floxinarsenahilipilification. You might think, what the heck? But that's a real word. Search up floxinarsenahilipilification. It's a real word that can actually be used in a real sentence. Now, I've used it once or twice. Of course, I'm not saying to go out with there and learn these stupid words, yeah? What I'm trying to say to you is that language is contagious. You can learn this word if you hear somebody else using it. And since almost nobody uses it, that's why you don't know this word. But the word does exist. And if it comes to swear words and you want to stop swearing, and the people around you, once again, reinforce this language, you'll most likely have it embedded into your language. If not, or most likely you just slip away. So if everyone around you swears, it feels normal. And we most likely do things that are normal. As much as we all want to be these exceptional people that go above and beyond and top 1% of humans, a lot of us just fall into criteria that are normal. A lot of us eat food, that's normal. A lot of us, okay, that's a necessity, but okay. What else is there? People may dress the same. You may dress the way that people dress inside of your culture. You may do certain things that people do inside your culture. There's certain things, those are all normal things, yeah? So if swearing is normal, you're most likely going to do it because it is normal. But when it is not normal around people who don't swear, you most likely won't do it once again. I want to keep reinforcing this into your mind. Environment shape your vocabulary. The more refined the group, the more refined the language. So the more likely inside the group that people are to be having these negative habits, you're most likely going to have negative language in that group. So of course you're going to be swearing there. So you want to be around groups that aren't refined. You want to be around people who are actually chasing after certain things, or not to say everyone who swears doesn't chase after certain things, but you want to be around people, if you want to improve to stop swearing, you want to be around people who also have the same values, that they don't swear. If you want to elevate your speech, you need people to hold you at a higher standard. So once again, this links to what I was talking about with me and my friends. We were holding each other to a higher standard. We're like, bro, you're not the type of person to swear. You shouldn't be swearing. So because of that, it held us at higher standards, so we stopped swearing. And how to fix this? Limit how often you mimic casual speech. So one thing that I try to do and I try to avoid is actually just copying all the lingo that everybody uses, because I personally just don't like it. And I think once I start, I don't stop. I just take the whole entire book of language and start speaking exactly the same way that everybody speaks. And I don't really like that personally for myself. So you can actually take that on board for yourself as well, because if you don't copy this casual speak and you try to keep a good tone and you try to keep a good vocal precision, verbal precision, well, you most likely won't be sounding like everybody else, which means you'll be able to catch these filler words out. And actually, I'm going to touch upon one of my friends. He used to speak the Queen's English. And when we was online, everyone used to diss him for speaking this Queen's English. But low-key, sometimes I'll be hating, but I'm like, bro, I highly respect it, because he was speaking so well that if anything was from a point of view of envy, where I was like, he speaks so well and I speak like a bum, I want to speak like him, but why is he speaking like that? That's one of if he sees this, bro, you know exactly who you are. That's one of the reasons. And I respect it, because he didn't care about the casual way that we were speaking. He would speak the exact same way that he was speaking, and trust me, he was speaking the right way. So when you do that, you may feel like you're, like an outcast to these guys because you're not speaking the exact same way as them, but trust me, you're on a better path. So limit how often you speak like them. Spend time listening to people who speak with control and purpose. So you want to go out and actually listen to people who actually focus on what they're saying and avoid swearing. As I speak about a lot on my channel, El Nightingale, he doesn't swear. He's one of those olden entrepreneurs that was Christian as well, like proper men of business to look up to. For example, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, John Rohn, these type of men. Go listen to their podcast. Well, not even podcasts. Like they used to do lectures in universities and stuff like that. Go listen to their lectures. Go listen to their long form of speech. I think what do you used to call it? Like voice memos. I don't know what they used to call, but they'll go onto like these shows and basically like olden podcasts. Listen to how they speak on repeat, and hear articulation like that. That will help your articulation. It'll help the way you speak in terms of your tone as well. But it'll also help you to hear language where people don't swear, so you can actually say things a lot better. Like one of the analogies that I've used in my life, for example, the goose and the golden egg, where it's an analogy to tell you to invest into yourself. I got that from El Nightingale, from listening to him talk about the goose and the golden egg, and I think it's a story he got from one of his friends. So the way that you want to improve your speech, it can be passed on through people. And then finally, for this point, is be conscious of what you are listening to, brackets music. So whether it is you're listening to people who swear a lot, or it is music, for example, you have to be extremely conscious of this. Not even just from a standpoint of, okay, avoid secular music. Like that's a whole nother video in itself. But what I'm talking about right now is in terms of trying to stop swearing, I swear more when the inner voice that I have in my mind is playing a song that has swear words inside of it. So for example, I don't listen to that type of music anymore. But if I hear a song, I'll tell you right now, I was the #1 person for music. I loved all music. Yeah. If I had like, I don't know if you guys know this guy called 027 Kwani or some next rapper or like a little baby Gunna, all these people in my ears. Yeah. And it's not the clean version of the song and they're swearing. I'm having that on repeat in my head. So guess what? When I come to sing the lyrics, I'm going to swear. And now that I've sweared from listening to the lyrics or from the lyrics, it's been two things happen. It's been reinforced in my mind that it's the normal thing for me to do because obviously the lyric I'm listening to, it doesn't matter, it's the lyrics, so of course I can swear now. But then two, it goes back to habit number 2. It's now embedded in my speech for repetition. So the more that I'm listening to this song, the more that I'm swearing, the more likely I'm just going to keep swearing inside of my speech. So you have to be extremely critical of what you're listening to right now. I'm not going to say you guys to come be as boring as I am right now. I literally only listen to gospel, which is not boring, but white noise. I would say about at least 5 hours of the day, I have white noise in my ear. I don't know why, I just enjoy it. It helps me to focus on looking and do work, but white noise. No lyrics, no nothing, just sound. And it's not even like instrumental, nothing. I went from jazz to now white noise. Try it. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but it will definitely help you at least quiet down that inner voice that has most likely all the lyrics playing in the back of their head and that's swearing. So finally, number 4, rebuild the way you see yourself. So you still swear because you identify as someone who swears. Now, once again, this links back to what I was talking about when I was younger. As I was saying, I want to go into this next path and become this better man. I don't want to swear anymore. I don't want to be, at least the man who I want to become, he won't be swearing as much as I'm swearing. And that really helps me because I said, if I want to be this certain guy, I need to do the habits that this guy does now. Is he swearing right now? Most likely no. Okay, so I won't swear anymore. Like that, it helped me get that mental switch. So if you keep saying, that's how I talk, you will never grow out of it. And that's one of the worst things you can do. When there's any form of negative habit in your life, if you double down on it and just say, that's who I am, that's why I do this, it's part of who I am, or that's how I talk, you reinforce it and you double down on it mentally to the point where you're like, I can't let go of this thing. And on the back of this video, on the back of this whiteboard, I have the next video which I'm going to be recording, which is how to stop angry impulses. And one of the things I'm going to talk about there is identity as well. If you reinforce any negative habit in your life and you want to get rid of it, but you keep reinforcing it, you can't get rid of it. That's one of the worst things you can possibly do, is reinforce a negative habit mentally. Because then it just becomes part of who you are. But when one of the first stages to stop anything, take it out of your identity. Say it's not part of who you are, and you'll be able to change that. So keep your speech. Your speech is part of your identity, and your identity shapes your behavior. So if you say, I don't swear, or swearing is not part of my speech, it will not be part of your speech, and it will no longer be part of your identity. The more you affirm that you speak with control, the more natural it becomes. So the more that you start to speak with control when talking, and you say, hold on a minute, no, I'm actually going to control what I'm saying. I'm going to think about what I say before I say it. The more it becomes natural, the more that you'll start doing that thing. So rather than just going out there and just being reactionary or automatic to how you speak, when you say, hold on a minute, I'm actually the type of person who knows what to say. I control it. I control what I'm saying. I'm not in control of my second nature reactions. I control it. You will start to do that and you'll start to see the swearing get out. So how do you fix this? How do you fix not understanding or seeing the way that you should be seeing yourself? Start reinforcing on a new standard. So you should start saying to yourself, literally repeat these things to yourself, if not every day, as frequently as you possibly can, to reinforce it into your mind. I speak with clarity. I don't need to swear to make my words hit. And the quote I want to leave with you guys right now is, speak like the man you're becoming, not the man you are outgrowing. So if you're trying to outgrow a certain identity, a certain person who you currently are, if you're watching this video, you want to elevate, you want to go to a next level as a person, you want to leave behind swearing, you need to start doing the habits of this person you're trying to become and leave this person you're currently outgrowing. And finally, swearing is automatic. Clarity is built. Control your language and you will control the respect people give you. Every word is a signal. Make yours intentional. So going forward, I want you to be very conscious, intentional of what you're saying. Think about these certain things. Understand that swearing shouldn't be part of your identity if you want to go to that next level. And be conscious of these things. Do the work necessary for you to say, okay then, I'm no longer going to swear. And trust me, you will see due time, swearing will no longer be part of your vocabulary. So thanks for watching today's video, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, click the like button. Additionally, you can click the link inside the description and join my free Discord community where I'll be growing with other ambitious guys.